Hey guys, it's Liz, and this is Mighteor Monday, our first episode. We're live on Facebook, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we're hoping to do with Mighteor Monday. So, Mighteor Monday is a new live show that we're doing on the first Monday of every month, starting today on August 1st, and then every first Monday from now until you guys stop watching this. So Mighteor Monday, in a nutshell, is a live show where we talk about online video. We talk about trends, we talk about what's going on right now, we give you some free advice, and at any point during the show, you can go ahead and ask me some questions about what you're thinking, what you're seeing, and the Mighteorites, who are all sitting around me making this happen right now, will help me facilitate answering those questions for you. So this is very exciting. I know that hopefully some of you have tuned in already. All right, so let's go into the first thing I want to talk about today. I want to talk about Snapchat. A lot of people have been coming to us, especially our clients and different brands, asking us how can they use Snapchat with their company, with the people within their organization, with their talent, and also just as a company as a whole, as a brand. And it may seem challenging to do because as we look at Snapchat, we can see that Snapchat has this very social aspect to it. It might not actually seem like a very approachable format for a lot of brands. We're so used to seeing highly curated, highly crafted, highly edited content, so it might seem like a slight disconnect to be using Snapchat for these purposes. But in fact, you can, and I want to share some of the ways that you can do that. So the first is just behind the scenes content. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't appreciate is how much your fans and your followers and people who are your customers appreciate things that are not quite as polished, not quite as over the top in terms of their production value. So behind the scenes content, like even right now, we could be doing a Snapchat in real time of what it looks like in the office as we're shooting. In fact, I'm going to do that as we speak. So it's not necessarily that the customer or the person, the viewer, is expecting something super high end. I mean, this particular Snapchat, which I'm gonna do right now, actually just shows in real time what's happening in our office. Hey Facebook Live, hey Ryan, hey Evan. And I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna try to play it back. Hopefully this plays for you. So the fact of the matter is that this is not necessarily something that's super, well edited or well crafted, but it shows you in real time what goes on in the Mighteor office. And so you can't see this right now, but we've actually got this room really well lit. We've got a really nice custom lighting set up here. I'm actually sitting in a very, very cramped space, but it doesn't look that way because of how we've crafted this look for this Facebook Live session. But for Snapchat, people can actually see, how much goes into making this look like this for you, making the image look good, making me hopefully look good in the process. So I'm going to go ahead and just share that with my story. Now, I did that, but your CEO could be doing that, your CTO, your CFO, your COO, anybody at your organization that is working on, having more of a public brand, having more expertise, having more media training. It's actually a really, really helpful tool for getting people used to being on camera, used to thinking in sound bites, used to thinking in sections. And that actually brings me to my second point of how you can do Snapchat, which is around talent development. One of the things that's really, really hard for a lot of people is actually getting used to the idea of having some kind of relationship with viewers where they think like this. And so if you've ever had media training or you've done formal on-camera training, you learn how to think and talk in sound bites. It's actually a really hard thing to do. It's not something that most people have naturally as a skill or as a talent, but Snapchat actually is a great cultivator of this skill. Because of the fact that the sound bites or the video clips that you post to Snapchat have to be so short in nature, it makes it really, really easy to test people's skill, to really help them hone that talent development, help them get used to thinking in sound bites, talking in sound bites, reacting in sound bites. That's the kind of thing that you really can't practice in any other setting. And because of the way that the app itself is designed, it really stops you. In fact, I frequently have to go back when I'm doing behind the scenes, vlogging or whatever on Snapchat. I frequently have to go back and redo things myself because I find myself going 1 second over or a half second over. These are the kinds of things where even if I'm in a media training session with a client, or when I was, in an agency life and someone was doing media training for me, I would have a hard time listening to people when they would say, stop, you can't go any further. But Snapchat actually forces you to do that. So it's a great talent development tool, especially for people who are trying to get better at media or talking in sound bites or just thinking quick. The second thing I want to talk about is regular programming. Snapchat is actually a fantastic concept for just developing a regular production schedule for you and your team. So just like we're, cultivating this idea of Mighteor Monday, where we're talking to you in real time for a segmented amount of time about a specific set of things, you can use Snapchat for a very similar purpose. So I'll give you a free one that's a good idea. You could do Snapchat Fridays, where on Friday afternoons, you show different elements of what goes on behind the scenes in your office. And this is especially an interesting idea for startups who have probably really interesting cultures, pretty DIY cultures. These are the kinds of behind the scenes footage ideas that customers and brands can really connect with and have an honest human interaction. And we all love when there's that humanity element that happens between people and brands. So startups can use this to say, on Fridays at 3 o'clock, follow us for an hour, or for a half an hour, or even just for 15 minutes, and come see what's going on in our offices. And not only is this a fantastic way to start promoting your Snapchat account as it is, but it helps you to actually start to cultivate something that a lot of other brands aren't taking advantage of, which is regular serialized content. So think about that if you're thinking about using Snapchat. Another thing I want you to be thinking about is the fun of it. The fact of the matter is that, as much as we like Facebook for continuing to evolve and continuing to use video, and hello, Mighteor is an internet video production company, so that makes sense. But, Facebook and Twitter and some of these other platforms, they do start to seem a little bit older as new things come out. And Snapchat really is a lot of fun. You can use the filters, you can use the different face tracking tools to make your face look different. And showing that sort of fun personality behind your business is a really great way to authentically connect with people. There aren't a lot of platforms in the world that feel authentic. And especially if you work in social media marketing, where you're doing content development or content marketing development all the time, you're not necessarily thinking about, how can we have more random fun on our social media accounts? Everything you're doing is probably highly scheduled, highly stylized, highly planned, highly edited. And so having these fun, authentic, almost, a little bit nitty gritty or a little bit anarchistic moments that are filling in the gaps in your social media content marketing plan are a really great idea. They make the entire life of your brand feel fuller, and it also just makes it seem less like marketing content. It has a way of feeling more human. It doesn't feel like it's been pre-planned quite as much, even if you are planning on being on Snapchat at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. A couple things that I want to talk about that are really about the industry and what's going on in the industry of video right now. And one of those things is around Facebook advertising, and is specifically around sponsored content. So if you've been making ads for, any point in the last 10 years, you've probably been using Google AdWords or YouTube ads to get that video ad out there. And it's been a really successful platform for a lot of companies, especially our company here at Mighteor. We'd be remiss if we didn't say that YouTube is really how this company got off the ground, and really how I got my start transitioning out of television into internet video. But I think that one of the big opportunities for brands right now is to move their YouTube ad dollars to Facebook. And I'm not just saying that because we're on Facebook Live right now and it seems like a perfectly timed idea. I'm actually saying that because I think it's really important and really valuable to be thinking about how you get the most out of your money when you're talking about your ad dollar spend. So right now on Facebook, they're seeing average ad dollar spends between 2 cents and 3 cents per view. Now that's up from even a month ago where we were seeing 1 cent per view placement rates, but even 2 or 3 cents per view knocks YouTube out of the water. At its highest rate last year in 2015, they were clocking in at around 70 cents per view. So that is a huge moment of opportunity to really maximize your marketing dollars, really maximize your ad spend, really maximize your media buy, and really take advantage of that ability to promote your content. Another really important thing that I want to point out, and I'd be completely baffled by is if you're still sponsoring photos over video. And here's why. Photo placements on Facebook feeds are just not getting the same traction that they used to. Ever since Facebook adjusted their algorithm to really promote video more, we're seeing huge declines in the percent click-throughs on photos on your Facebook feed. So if you're a brand that has really relied on sponsoring photos over the last few years to get the word out about your company or about a new product, you've got to reassess that completely, and you've got to look at how you can potentially use Facebook's algorithm to your advantage. And so if you've got a video, let's just say for example, one of our clients, they have a 1-minute spot that's a pretty traditional 60-second spot. It tells the value of their brand. It really is on point with their current marketing messages. So what we went ahead and did is we went ahead and make alternative cuts, 15 to 30-second cuts for Facebook that have highly text-driven elements within them in order to really maximize the value of that content. And so when we put that video out, just by a side-by-side comparison, a photo to a video, you see a 300% increase in the amount of attention and engagement that that video is going to get over the photo. So making those alternative edits, that's something that we do here at Mighteor all the time for our clients. But if you have someone in-house who's really talented with video, or you have somebody who's really, good at making those kinds of changes or can see those opportunities, that's a place where you can actually get more out of your video content. All right, so I want to ask you a question. All right, you have a question for me. Sarah wants to know, what is my favorite Snapchat filter? I think it really depends on the day, but on a Monday like today where I'm feeling very professional and I'm feeling very business oriented, I like to do the face swap with anybody in the office who is got a beard. Most of the people in my office are dudes, and so when they have facial hair and we do a face swap on a day like today, it's a pretty funny alternative to the norm. Okay, another question that just came in on Twitter was, how much of your YouTube ad dollars would you move to Facebook? I don't think you have to move all of your ad dollars to Facebook. I think you can go ahead and, move part of your ad dollars, but I do think it's worth experimenting. If you were planning on spending $1,000 to $5,000 of your ad dollars this year on YouTube or this month on YouTube, I would go ahead and reallocate about 70% of that and see how that, changes the game for you and your brand in terms of the click-throughs, engagement, and overall brand awareness with your key customers. I want to also point out that when it comes to ad dollars online, it's a really important validation that when we look at spending ad dollars on YouTube or Facebook or even on other platforms like Instagram is starting to offer some promotional video platforms and services, when we look at that comparison to the old days where you used to do media buying for television channels, the rate of return is huge. I mean, we're seeing 2 to 3 times the rate of return that you would see back in the day watching television, because remember that we're closing a gap that used to be kind of a huge one. Just to put that in a really concrete term, so think about, you see a Doritos ad, and you're watching television, you see the Doritos ad during your favorite television show, and then you actually have to go to the store and remember that you saw the Doritos ad, and that's not a very easy thing to measure without doing like really intensive customer surveying, usually on the phone surveying, because that's a very expensive, a very difficult to track metric. Whereas today, spending your ad dollars on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else really online, you can track directly what did someone watch, when did they watch it, and when did they buy from you. That is a really, really incredible opportunity for content marketers. And so if you're still spending your money on television, I really think you need to be rethinking that strategy and get online, because online is where it's at. And I'm not just saying that because we're an internet video production company. I'm saying that because I actually believe that to be true. All right, so that's Facebook Live, or that's Facebook video and sponsored video. That's sort of the confluence or the difference between spending your ad dollars on YouTube versus Facebook. Again, the height of last year, you're paying 70 cents per view on YouTube. Right now, you're getting 2 and 3 cent per view ad rates on Facebook, even for highly targeted audiences. So be thinking about making that shift. Be thinking about reallocating your ad dollars. Do that experimentation. See how that translates to sales or signups for your brand, because Facebook might be a bigger opportunity for you. And then of course, don't be afraid to make new edits or new cuts of your video to maximize the platform so that you can continue to sponsor that video instead of having to use photos or traditional textile posts. All right, another question that I pre-planned was how to be better on camera. So I touched on this a little bit around video blogging, but I want to touch on it again. One of the ways that you can be better on camera is try to not do it by yourself at first. So get someone else on camera with you, get used to engaging in a little bit more amped up dialogue with someone else there to help you. One of the things that's really intimidating about being on camera is that you have to look down the barrel of the lens and pretend that the person who's watching is there, which after doing this for years and years and years, I can do, but it took a really long time to get there. And so you definitely should try to bring somebody else into the equation. If you don't have that as a potential way to practice, another way that you can practice is to practice in thinking in sound bites. And I told you a little bit about this, about using Snapchat as a way to practice this. But thinking in sound bites really means thinking in 10 to 15 second increments, thinking about how you can really quickly and effectively and efficiently get your point across. And so if you even sit down before you go on camera and write 10 to 15 one-sentence terms that you can memorize and that you can plug into to remember exactly what you want to say, that is a really effective way to get your message across and to be more confident on camera, because you know exactly what you're going to say and you only have to memorize one sentence at a time, not entire paragraphs. Another way to be better on camera is to really think about talking to someone that you care about a lot instead of talking to a camera lens. So something that you could do is literally cut out a picture of your grandma or your grandpa, put it next to the camera, and imagine yourself talking to them instead of talking to sort of the void of technology. That is a funny and sort of sincerely cute way to get better on camera, but it actually works. And we've used this with a lot of different clients who have a hard time loosening up or not feeling overly stiff when they're on camera. This really helps you to be more personable, to be more friendly, and to just smile more. And smiling is a huge part of what helps people connect with you when you're on camera. Okay, and one more question. How do you think Frank Ocean using a live video stream as a promotional tool for his album would be beneficial? First of all, I hope he does that. He's doing that. Okay, thanks, Ryan. Frank Ocean is doing that. I love Frank Ocean, so this is a fantastic question. And I think that Frank Ocean using live streaming is so smart. He knows that his audience is really passionate. He tweeted that his album release was late, but it was coming out. So that was how he chose to spread the word to his fans, was using Twitter, which I think is really smart. He clearly has a pulse on what his audience enjoys. And I think that he's going to start to eat people's lunch in terms of that entire marketing element of the music industry. It's a really important comparison to make. There's an article in Fast Company right now, in the latest issue of Fast Company, about how Beyonce has been using video for her marketing since like 3 albums ago, and how that has been really the thing that has made her career and helped her to have best-selling records over and over and over again. So go check out that article because it's a really good one. Okay, last question. What cameras do you use? If I were to get a brand new one, what would you recommend? So we are pretty Canon loyalists around here. We pretty much shoot on, depending on the client, every client is different. Certain clients have different specifics that they want us to use, but we generally rely on 3 different cameras. 2 are Canons and 1 is a Sony. So I'll start with the Sony. We usually shoot on the Sony FS700 when we need to do something in slow motion, or we need to do something where we need to do extensive color grading afterwards. So that's a really great camera. It's getting to be less expensive right now too, so if you want to get into more high quality cinematics, the Sony FS700 is a good choice. We also pretty consistently shoot on a Canon 5D Mark III. We just love the color profile, and we tend to shoot on the Rokinon Cine Lens series. They're all prime lenses, beautiful glass, very true colors, and a lot of control in the image. And then we also just started shooting on the Canon EOS 1DX, and that is a 4K DSLR body that allows us to, again, attach those cine lenses and get that really cinematic look for our clients. I want to plug a couple things first, if you'll allow me to. So the first is that we also have a new web show online right now on our YouTube page and on our website called Internet Video Masterclass. It's the first season, it's 6 episodes. It's us giving you, in 2 minutes or less, a fast tip that you can use to make your internet video better. So Mighteor.com/masterclass, watch all 6. We'd love if you binge them. We'd love if you would tweet them, but hopefully you just enjoy them and are able to use the tips in your video marketing strategy. We will be preserving these recordings of these Mighteor Mondays on Facebook and YouTube, so if you miss an episode or you want to come back and catch a tip that I had, please know that we will have these available later on. And then of course the next Mighteor Monday is going to be September 5th, which I know is Labor Day, so you're probably all going to be camping or having a lot of fun, but we'll be here anyway, so if you want to stream us on your phone, that would be awesome. So you guys, this was our first Mighteor Monday. We did it, 30 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you found these tips helpful, and we'll see you in the future on this Facebook live stream, September 5th. All right, have a great day.